one of the things I think that's helped you and I be successful and help make our efforts at Onsite successful over the years is that we've just put significant emphasis on connection and culture. We've paid attention to what happens behind the scenes as much as we pay attention to the service that we deliver, because we don't feel like they're separate. We feel like they're very much together, and we haven't always gotten that right, but our intention has always been, we've got to be talking about this, and when we get off course, we've got to sit and figure out how we're getting off course. And you facilitate connection every week through the way you speak and share and counsel and guide, and you're a mentor to a lot of people, and not just the people that you lead in living centered programs, but also you're kind of a lighthouse in the office, and people don't see that part, that there's so many people that come to you when they feel like things are getting a little bumpy. And why do you feel that is so important, just feeling connected?
Well, you know, a bunch of people can come together in an office place and they've got objectives, they got things they're supposed to do. And they may be really, really wired for that, and they may be like going, oh my gosh, I got to somehow figure out how to do this. And we can all be going on our parallel rows, but when people start to get together and connect, there is this generating of creativity. But there's also more that happens than we would ever expect. I think it's like when a writer writes, they may start, or a painter paints, they start with an idea, but as it grows, it almost takes on a life of its own. I know this seems like a crazy, my brain goes in metaphors, but I remember when I was in kindergarten, my mom ordered me a uniform of a 5-star general. And I remember dressing in it and walking in the front door of kindergarten one day thinking somehow they were going to really think I was a 5-star general. And when I got inside and they all knew it was still me, I was so disappointed at first. And then what I began to realize was we were just having a blast just hanging out with each other. I think that's a little bit about what we do in our work sometimes, is like, I got to put on this front and I got to act like we're going to be this and we're going to do it this way. But when we connect with each other, even sometimes with our own fears and weaknesses, we begin to generate something that we would have never had without that.
Well, and I think that's the good news, is that culture can feel complicated. You know, you can read books about it and get all this advice about here's how you build a great culture at business. And culture doesn't just exist at work; it's at home.
Right. Yeah.
We build culture around the spiritual circles, our faith that we get into in our home and our work environment. But culture gets overcomplicated, I think, sometimes. And ultimately, I think my takeaway is culture doesn't exist without connection. Through culture. Yeah. And everybody can pursue connection. And connection is not, we take it for granted because we're all wired for it biologically, but we also have to work towards staying connected or getting reconnected when we get out and life kind of beats us up a little bit. So culture doesn't exist without connection, and anybody can obtain connection, therefore anybody can build a good culture.
And I think we put also a lot of pressure on people that then in their connection, it's got to be amazing all the time. And when we have creativity, it's got to be amazing. But some days we come home, whether it's our home culture or go to work or in our community, and we're just not, you know, and it's just we feel blah or whatever. But I think still a part of that is that when we get to know each other, like for instance in our office, we still get to know what this person is like when they're not having a great day. And how other people may work to be involved with that person. But then this person shows up the next day and they're having an amazing day. And I think that also is a part of our culture, so that we realize I don't have to be on a 10 every day. Now I got to show up some days with pretty close, but I can have some days where I'm a 1 or a 2. But in my interaction with you or other people, to go, okay, all right, the team is still kind of carrying me a little bit, but then tomorrow I may be helping to carry the team. And I think we begin to depend on that rather than depending upon, I got to somehow always carry this thing.
I love that. We actually you and I had a meeting. This is real time. We have these conversations all the time. We just don't often share them. And we had a meeting yesterday. Actually, it was a really great walk we took around campus. And towards the end of it, you shared some feedback. And it was feedback that I wanted and needed to hear. And so I hope that just know we weren't experts when we started this, and we're still not. We're clumsy with how we try to navigate this stuff, but it's just we value it and it's important. And I think it's because we set it up to invite people into it, not mandate it.
Yeah.
And so that's where culture really gets to create a life of its own, and it gets to birth and be born and create sustainability, is when you're invited, not mandated.
Yeah. Yeah. Amen to that.